Joining us live now, WTOP national security correspondent J.J. Green. J.J., tell us more about the threats the FBI is warning about here.
Well, they're warning, John, precisely about this kind of thing. People on the fringe of society or people who have issues or problems with law enforcement and the U.S. government that might be triggered by a number of issues, including items in the news, politics, racial or social or cultural developments, combined with, and this is the important part, drug use and or mental illness. And that appears to be what was the case with Richard York III. A long criminal record, history of violence and use of drugs. This is what law enforcement are up against.
What do we know about how law enforcement is responding, not only to the increase in threats generally, but specific incidents like yesterday's?
There are investigations open across the country into this kind of thing. This thing, I'm told, specifically this incident on Capitol Hill is making law enforcement authorities check more boxes and check them more frequently. Make sure that they're looking, watching their backs, make sure they're looking out for each other, making sure that they understand how to respond to threats, have the right equipment and right training to respond to these threats, and to know, that's the key thing they say, to know that there are many threats out there. Some of them may come in places from people that they may be surprised by, but to be ready pretty much for these kinds of threats.
What else are people in the national security community saying about all this?
One of the things that a lot of people have recognized in the national security world beyond the law enforcement community, they recognize that a lot of what's going on is being, gasoline is being poured on this flame by people who know better, by people who know that some of the things that have been said about what the FBI and the Justice Department did. Some people are saying some things they know aren't true, but they're using it for their own political, personal, professional gain, and this is a dangerous thing. The national security community is worried that people who, as those I've laid out to you, who may be on the fringe, who may not have a grasp or the ability to grasp the problem that this kind of situation might trigger, might buy into all of the rhetoric that they're hearing, might buy into what they're being asked and told to do, go ahead and do it without realizing it because they don't have the capacity. And this is a real for law enforcement whose job it is to protect innocent people themselves, but they're also supposed to protect these people who are risk as well.
All right. Appreciate it, J.J. Thank you.
You're welcome.
WTOP's national security correspondent, J.J. Green.